And how much is this for?
$4,400.
Okay.
All right, this is the Capital Improvement Committee meeting. It's for April 5th, 2017, and we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of
Allegiance to the flag, United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty, justice for all.
All right, first order of business, I just want to welcome, we got 2 new members that decided to join us. And I want to welcome Bob Edmonds and Paul, I hope I don't botch this, Kanichki.
Not bad, thank you very much.
All right, is that close? Do you guys want to tell us a little bit about yourselves, or?
I'm a lifelong resident here. Family grew up here. I'm a employee of the community. I've been working for the fire department now for some 28 plus years. I had done a stint of member of the Fish and Game Commission years and years ago, and I enjoyed it. And I walked away when the kids started to grow. Now that they're all college age, I've got some free time. I was to give something back to the town.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Bob?
I moved to town here in December 2015. Want to do a little bit of community service. I got involved with the fire department. Per diem, I'm a paramedic with the fire department. Also work over in Webster with the paramedics over in EMS. Like I said, just wanted to get involved with the town a little bit more, give a little bit back to the community.
Excellent.
So, no other town experience.
Thank you for joining us. We'll try to get you guys kind of up to speed as where we've been recently, and we'll do that, I guess, after.
Thank you very much for stepping up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's hard to find volunteers for boards.
True.
So thank you very much. Next order of business is acceptance of the minutes from January 23rd.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we accept the Capital Improvement Committee's minutes for January 23rd, 2017, as written.
I second.
Second. You, everybody have time to read this? Or?
I'm good.
Any changes at all? All right, all in favor of accepting the minutes?
Aye.
All right. That's it. Next order of business is any new requests for capital expenditures. I'm going to have Danny come up. I know we have already had the truck that you had requested, the plow truck.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I requested that one-ton dump truck with a plow last fall for the
Yep.
annual town meeting there for the Buildings and Grounds Department. It was passed over at the time for lack of funds,
Right.
so we put it on again this year. So hopefully we can get that. For Buildings and
Any
Grounds.
changes to that at all from the time we had voted on
No,
it?
everything is the same.
It's 48.5.
48.5, yep. And
Okay.
it's gonna come off, basically, hopefully just take it off the state bid there. And if we can
Right.
get a plow cheaper somewhere else, which we have in the past on the highway trucks.
Right.
Sometimes the state bid for plows is a little higher than what the neighboring companies around town have, so we saved a few dollars last time. I think we get the plow from Place Motors, and they were cheaper than the actual state bid.
Right.
So we shop around, we try to get the best deal we can. And the other thing I have, Mr. Chairman, is, the highway department's asking for a street sweeper.
Mhm.
I didn't put it on a warrant for this year, but maybe in the fall we'll look at that, you know?
Yeah, if you can get us some information so we can take
Yep.
a look at that.
Yep, the current machine we have is a combination street sweeper and catch basin cleaner. It's a vacuum type. The street sweeping part of that is pretty worn. It's almost 20 years old. We want to keep the truck, because it is a catch basin cleaner vacuum type, and the DEP likes that sort of vacuum type because it sucks out the water out of the catch basins as well as the sand.
Okay.
Cuts back on, they say, the mosquitoes and things of that nature.
Okay.
But,
Chairman, one question.
Sure.
Danny, what year was that?
I think it's a 2000, so we bought it in 99. Yep.
And that is on your, is that on your, is that fiscal year 18?
It's fiscal year 18, yep.
That's the 195,000.
265 was
We had 195.
195.
190, okay, 195, I'm sorry. Yep, okay, I'm thinking of something different, yep.
Okay.
Is that number still going to be fairly accurate then?
I would hope so, yes.
Okay.
Yep. If it says some Chapter 90 funds left over, maybe we could swing a chunk of that money towards that machine too, because that is expensive, but that should last well over 20 years.
Sure. Yeah, the only thing is if you can get us some information on it so
Yep.
that we can kind of look it over and
Sure will.
do it. Like I say, that's not gonna come up until fall, at least anyway, so.
Yeah, I mean, it's no sense in trying for it now because obviously you don't have the information yet, and
Right.
by the time you get it, the sweeping season will be over.
Okay. Now, we already approved the truck.
Yes.
So that
Yep.
is gonna be on the warrant, so I'm gonna request that
Yep, very good.
warrant for the selectmen. I don't know where we lie with the
Yeah,
budget this year. You know, this time of year, they're always,
Oh, yeah,
you
everybody,
know, we're always trying to get to zero
Yeah.
at this time, so,
it's tough in the spring, but hopefully we can swing it.
anybody have a question?
Yeah, I'll just make a quick comment on the budget. The budget has certainly not been finalized yet. Pretty much far from over. We're dealing with the schools on their budget request. We've met with them twice. I know Greg has a meeting tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock with the superintendent to discuss some final numbers. And we won't have those for a little while, and we also don't have state numbers. State numbers don't usually come in until just before town meeting. And in my opinion, that system is backwards. We should always have the state numbers first, so at least you know where you're coming from and what you're working with. But the budget's still up in the air.
Oh, yeah.
What was the tentative amount? I thought we down by 200 or something?
No, there is no real final amount yet that I'm aware of.
I believe there's more discussions, again, depending on the state number, and there's negotiations with the school.
Yes.
Okay. So we'll have to see how that all pans out.
Sure, yep, I understand.
But we're
Ben,
definitely gonna make a push for the truck on,
I appreciate that, yeah, yep.
so. All right.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Danny.
Chief?
Good evening. I gave you my 5-year plan on January 23rd, that meeting we
Yep.
had, but I need to make some adjustments to that. The self-contained breathing apparatus, we're still waiting to the grant is still pending, the federal AFG grant through Homeland Security, and we're still waiting to hear on that. It hasn't gone any further. It usually takes a while anyway. You might not hear till the summer. On the second 10 sets of turnout gear, that's actually not going to be a capital item anymore because the price fell to $19,990, so it fell under the $20,000 limit. So I'm actually taking that off. It's still, it's going to be put on the Springtown warrant, but I understand it's going to be passed over till the fall. I just wanted to get it on there so they know in the fall, because as part of the plan that I spoke to you of in January and last year, instead of replacing all 40 sets at once, we wanted to do 10 sets a year until we hit the 40 sets.
Is that the same as what you're writing the grant for?
What do you mean?
I thought you had said you were writing.
No, the
writing a
air
grant for-
packs is for the grant. The bunker gear is,
It's
I
a
went through the
separate thing.
town. That's
Okay.
separate. That's like the turnout coat and the
Okay.
turnout, the actual pants and the coat. The air pack is your breathing apparatus.
Right.
2 totally separate things, but 100% necessary if we are, so we're able to do firefighting without killing ourselves. The other thing I had on there, the next 3 items I had on there was the refurbishment of engine 2,
Mhm.
replacing engine 3, and replacing ambulance 1. I'm trying to work with the town if I can refurbish something or remount. As you know, I remounted the last ambulance and probably saved about $70,000 to $80,000 to the taxpayer through that debt. We didn't end up doing a debt exclusion for that, but I still saved you guys money, around $70,000. So I'm gonna both engine 2 and engine 3 are roughly 22 years old. So they're getting up there, and those are my frontline pieces. So, again, I'm trying to work the numbers so, we can try and save money. If I can refurb engine 2, that would be 1/4 of the cost of a new engine, so that'll work really well. And then I have to replace engine 3 because that's our pumper rescue, and that truck's just not adequate. That'd have to be replaced, but that's a few years away. And then ambulance 1, I have last on the list, but that actually might move up depending on the condition of the ambulance, and that's important because the ambulances are running all the time. and I'm unable to remount that ambulance. I'll have to replace that because of the design of the truck. I can't remount it. But actually, the price, I had listed $250. Actually, the price is gonna come down. I found a different manufacturer that we like, a model, so it's actually gonna come down to about $210. So between $210 and $220, so it's gonna save about $30,000 to $40,000. So that's where we're at right now.
So no requests then going into this budget from us?
Just the gear, and I also put a Lucas CPR machine, but that was only
Outside of our
15,000.
range now.
Yeah, and, right, so I requested that they be put on the spring town meeting, but with the understanding that they'll be passed over till the fall. I just want it on there so they know the importance of these items.
Anybody have any questions?
No.
No?
Rich?
Rich, go ahead.
Update on the fire station?
So they posted for the OPM, the project manager. That has to stay posted until the 14th of April, correct, Michelle? At that point, whatever we get, have you gotten anything yet? Anybody submit any paper? So we'll see what we got for submissions at the 14th, and then we'll call a building committee meeting. We'll go through, and I'm sure we'll probably pick, depending on how many we get, we'll pick a number of finalists. That's what we did with the architects back when we did the design plan. And we'll interview those finalists and look for feedback, and the building committee will make their presentation to the Board of Selectmen on who we want for the project manager. We'll get him on board, and then we'll move forward from there with that. We kind of have to have that. We're a little behind with that, so we don't want to get in trouble. So, but I've been meeting with the architect here and there, and we have a couple of floor plans. Nothing, not the official drawings, but a couple of floor plans. And when we get in a couple weeks, we'll have a more finalized one, and then people will be able to come see it. You probably, after everything is bid and everything, you're probably looking at late summer, early fall to break ground, because you got to go through all these steps. You know, I mean, we're going to have to bid everything, the general contractor, the electricians, the HVAC guys. It's a long, drawn-out process, but I'm really excited to get going on it.
And you can get with me and Greg and sort of give us what you expect from money, when you're going to be mailing out checks or need to pay vendors.
I know the only.
It doesn't need to be verbalized now, but at one point,
Right.
maybe by the first month from now, we'd want to sit down and do a quick 1, 2, 3 figuring. This is the next 3, 6, 9, 12 months.
I just wanted to say this one thing. I'm not getting into
absolutely.
specifics, but I am expecting a bill from the architect told us they're going to be sending us a bill in the next couple weeks, their first bill for services, so.
Pay for it with good looks, right?
Yeah, I'm just going to hand it to you.
I got a drawer for all that stuff.
All right.
But no, it's going well. It was a little bit of a slow start, but I understand the town had a lot of things going on, and it kind of got pushed off a little bit, but we're getting going now, and things are going well, and we're moving along as quick as we can. We got to follow the process. I mean, Massachusetts just has that crazy process, so I mean, it just takes time. And then once ground is broken, they said about 12 to 18 months to completion, more closer to 18 months.
Great. Look forward to some new updates. Thank you.
Yep.
Is there any other requests that were being submitted? Mr. Fox?
Any response from water and sewer on any requests?
Not that I've heard.
Could-
Yep, they're in a meeting now.
Could we
But
send
you-
them a note?
They need to be reminded that if they're looking for money, that they have to come before the capital improvement committee to get approved. They can't just go to town meeting. Okay, thank
We'll
you.
send them another letter or email.
Yep.
All right. Any other, any questions? No other requests at all? Nothing on the voting booth? They didn't bring that up? Okay. Well, I guess the only request that we have going into this season would be the truck that we've already approved. So that'll be on the warrant article. I will advise present that to the FAA and to the selectmen. I don't know if it's gonna, with the budget, it's gonna get passed or not, or passed over, so, but I will present it to them. And I think we also should, I should voice our support for the fire gear, even though it's underneath our purview. I will.
Yep.
All right. All right, so in front of you guys should have the report that's sent. It's a one-page report. It says Town of Dudley on the top of it. This is the annual report that's submitted for our town book. Basically, the first 3/4 of this is just what the capital improvement, what we are and what we do, which is in the bylaws. So for you new guys, if you wanted to read through that, that kind of gives you a little idea what we do. Down the bottom, the total purchases that we made in fiscal year 2016. Town bought a highway for the highway department, a dump truck for $63,847. We did purchase a police cruiser. It was used as a K-9 unit for $36,196, and there was some grant money that went into that.
There was donation money.
Donation money that went into buying that, and we remounted that ambulance for $159. We also paid off the final payment on that backhoe that we purchased for $23,000. The K-9 unit was bought cash for that year, and we also bought the truck. So those were all paid off. We didn't carry any debt on those. So that's what I'm submitting to the town. So if you have any changes or anything you want to put on it,
Looks nice.
before it gets submitted. Try to keep it to one page.
Okay, do you want a motion to accept this?
I don't know if we need one, but I'd entertain one.
You should, and I'll
Then
second.
I'll make a motion that we accept the Capital Improvement Committee and Planning's annual report letter to be going into the annual report as written.
I'll second. Mark?
All right. Any other discussion on it? Any questions? No? All right, all in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
All right. Is any miscellaneous items that need to come up? Anybody have any questions? You guys have any questions?
Questions, thoughts, concerns, reflections on the first few minutes?
I'm sure there will be.
A quick FYI, the town of Dudley borrows money pretty easily. Because of who we are, it's not too complicated of a process, but there is a lead time. It's a bid for a short-term note that lasts for about a year. If I need one for 6 months, it's not a problem. We borrow very competitively, not even close to what a mortgage goes for.
I was gonna say, under 1%, I wish I could have borrowed that for my,
I try not to, that's general knowledge, but it really, at the end of the day, when the fire station gets bonded out, it'll be very similar. I think it's tied into the 30-year note or something like that, but there's a formula for it. The short-term stuff really is, probably costs more to make the phone call than it does to borrow the money. So, easy to do. Try to do everything annually, so we're only borrowing money once.
Is there a fee?
Yes, there is a fee. Every time I make that telephone call, there is an issuance cost of $500. So whether it's $50,000 or $500,000, obviously you want to go with the $500,000 so that you're sort of maximizing things. Other than that, pretty simple. No reason to lease anything. We pay no taxes or sales tax or anything like that, so there's really no advantage, whereas if you went and leased a vehicle from one of the large auto manufacturers, there's a value for them leasing it to you, so.
Any other questions? One thing I'd like to add is, we kind of got a little sad news. Mr. Fox was not going to be running for selectman again.
He can stay on the committee as
But,
long as he'd like.
We're gonna twist your arm to stay on our committee
I
here.
make a motion, we adjourn.
No,
I don't hear a second yet.
no second. But we will be twisting your arm, Mr. Fox. Stay
He's
on our
one of the,
committee. We need your,
one of the
input.
2 charter members, me and
Yes.
you.
That's right.
Do we want to make a real motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
All right.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Proceed here if you're found